Hi folks, Noelle Janka here. I wanted to talk about sex today. I don't think that we talk enough about sex in the chronic illness community or just in general about how sex can affect us and how our ability to have sex or not have sex can affect our healing when we're living with a health challenge. So, specifically today, I wanted to touch on the things that people come to me with the most. One is just not being able to have sex because of health challenge, either because of pain or lack of energy or loss of libido. Um, Trying to have sex in a different way when the way that you've had sex in the past isn't accessible to you anymore. And then number three is how to talk to partners or a partner if you have a partner about having sex differently or not being able to have sex at all. So first, when it comes to not being able to have sex at all, can be incredibly devastating, and there isn't always a space for people to talk about it. So first, I just want to say that if you ever want to talk about that, let's talk about it. You can comment on it here. You can talk about it in the Facebook group that I run, Spoonie Superstars. Let's talk about it. There is some conversation about it online, but it can often be a lot of like, yeah, my husband hates me, and I don't think it needs to be like that. Um, and there's a couple schools of thought about having sex when you're healing. Some folks say that you shouldn't do it, you should just rest, and I think sometimes that absolutely is the right call. I think sometimes people don't have sex because they're afraid or because they are tired and they're not sure if they can do it. And I'm just of the camp that it's worth experimenting. Like sometimes we can just assume like, okay, since I can't do it the way that I used to do it with myself or with other people, then I just can't do it at all. And I really want folks to see if that's really true before taking a conscious break or deciding not to engage with it for a while. The other thing I want to say is, you know, just because you can't have sex because you're in pain or because you've lost your libido or because you don't have the energy, it doesn't mean it's always going to be like that. Libido comes back. Pain can be healed. It might take a long time. It might take a lot of trial and error, a lot of different treatments, getting a lot of support from other people, getting support from people that don't take your insurance. But there is a way, and so we don't have to feel like that part of our life is over. And part of the reason that I do think that sex is really important and worth pursuing, no matter how we're feeling, as long as it actually is accessible, is that it can be a very powerful source of healing. I mean, it can literally heal pain. It's known orgasming can make migraines and cluster headaches go away. And then just if you're having sex with another person, it can help you feel really connected in a deep way. It can help you feel deeply connected to yourself. And a lot of us get really isolated when we've been sick for a really long time. And so that can be a really beautiful source of connection with ourselves and with others. And those are just a couple reasons why sex is awesome. And then, if you've lost your libido, there are some things that are worth looking into, worth reading about, worth exploring. I've talked to a lot of folks about loss of libido as a side effect of psychiatric drugs and antidepressants and that kind of thing. And sometimes drugs are the best choice, but there are alternatives, and your psychiatrist isn't always going to be able to tell you what those are. There's a lot of things out there, and I put some things in the post below, but the Walsh approach is worth reading up about. It can help with even some of the most severe mental illness, and it's all natural and doesn't have the same side effects on libido as the psychiatric drugs do. The other thing is maca powder, ashwagandha are both known to make some people super horny. Cannabis as well. If you're not interested in smoking or ingesting cannabis, there's also cannabis lube, which is really fun. And I've included a link to reviews of different kinds below so that you can read about that. And I'd love to hear from you all if you've had luck in bringing your libido back after it's been gone. In my experience, mine went away a few different times, and as I got better, it came back. So it's kind of an elusive thing, but there are ways that we can cultivate it. Um, the other thing I'll say is if you know that you want to have sex, but you just can't do it in the way that you used to, either with yourself or someone else. Um, I just want to encourage you to play and to try different things and try not to get discouraged. Just because something doesn't work once doesn't mean it's never going to work again. And just because trying something new doesn't really work out for you or for your partner, it doesn't mean that it's not worth trying, because there's a million different ways to get off, right? There's more ways to get off than there are languages or fish in the sea. And if you're interested in researching, there's so much on the internet that you can look at or look up or read about or watch videos about. And then I have a dear friend, Rachel Dwight, who runs a fabulous online sex shop that's dedicated to accessibility, and she does consultations. So if you're looking to maybe bring some new toys in the mix, or you have a disability and you think that there might be a way to work around it, or even if you don't think there's a way to work around it, I encourage you to reach out to her. It's the Validity Initiative, and I've included the link for that below as well. And lastly, just in terms of talking to partners, if you have a partner, this can be really difficult. I mean, not being able to have sex or not wanting to have sex can bring up a lot of feelings of guilt and shame and all different kinds of awkwardness, and just know that that's all normal. And also know that it's normal that your partner is going to be disappointed, right? I mean, they hopefully love you and want to make sweet love to you, and they're going to be sad if they can't do that. And so I want to encourage you to find space to be compassionate, not only with yourself, but with your partner as well. And it's just a really important time to try to help them understand where you're coming from, but also, be a compassionate ear for them and understand what their needs are and where they're coming from. And I just want to say too that there are, if you try to communicate with your partner about what your reality is like and they just don't get it, you might try to connect them with other spouses or partners of people with chronic illness. There are support groups for caregivers that can be really powerful. And just like all of us talk about how not having sex sucks, all of them can talk about how not having sex sucks, and sometimes that can be really supportive for them. There's also, couples counselors that specialize in this kind of thing. And there's no shame in that. It can be so helpful to have some support when you're navigating any kind of change in your relationship, but especially one in the bedroom. And I wrote about this a little bit below, but I was shocked to learn recently that, for decades, couples counselors didn't broach the topic of sex, but that's really changing in a big way, and there are a lot of psychologists that are really pushing to change that, since it is such a vital part of partnership. And if psychology isn't the way you want to go, there are life coaches that work with couples as well, and that can be really powerful. And there are all different flavors of life coaches and counselors, GLBT friendly, kink friendly, polyamorous. So I just encourage you to do some research and do some shopping around and find one that really feels like they're going to be on your team and they're really going to support you in your partnership. But I'll stop talking. I'd love to hear from you all. I'd love to hear what your experience has been, positive and negative, with sex and with your health challenges. And would love to hear any ideas that you have that you'd like to share with others, or if there's other topics related to sex that you want me to talk about. I would be really excited to do that. All right. Have fun out there, and I look forward to hearing from you. Bye.